Hello and welcome to Bellas Fashionistas Home Edition. I am your host, Fleriser Bello. It is a pleasure to have you join us on this beautiful afternoon. We trust that you and your loved ones are well and staying safe. In today's Bellas FireSide Chat conversation, we welcome the President and CEO of Latinas in Business, a nonprofit media organization that advocates for the economic empowerment of Latinas and minority-owned businesses. For the past 6 years, have been bridging opportunities, connecting and promoting the growth of minority-owned businesses through editorial content, marketing, branding, educational resources, and promotional events. Please join me in welcoming Latina trailblazer and Argentinian Susana Baumann. Susana, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Flair. I really appreciate being here today. You are a champion of all women entrepreneur and Latina leaders.
Susana, you have worked and paved the way for all of us Latinas that today we are here. And without those efforts, we would not be able to advance in this venture of being an entrepreneur. So thank you. Thank you for being the one that opens doors, that helps us get out there. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do this.
You're very welcome. I think it's a concerted effort. There's so many of us doing a fantastic job and finally understanding that we need to raise, when one raises up, the others, we have to give a hand so everybody raises together. That has been my goal since I started this organization. I saw the need to help or pass on not so much the expertise but the experience. There is something that you cannot train. Experience is something that you acquire by doing and failing and doing again and failing and finally succeeding. And so that's one of the legacies that I really want to pass on to younger women, especially minority women and Latinas. And I will explain to you why, our banner says Latina, but we also included, and why we included other minority women in our movement.
Tell us more about yourself and what it is that you do.
I came exactly 30 years ago to this country from Argentina. And when people ask you why, the most common question I get all the time when I meet someone is, so why did you come to the United States? And there's never one reason or one answer or one, there are private reasons, and then there are other reasons that I can make public. And when I do my training, speak up, tell your story, is I always say that I give the answer depending on the audience. Mm-hmm. So today I'm going to say that we came looking for opportunities, which is true, and each version that you give, it has to be authentic and it has to be true. It's only that is not the only reason why, right? And so I came looking for opportunities. I was already in my 40s, and I was 40 years old, actually. This year I'm going to be 70. We came for opportunities, really. Argentina was going through one of the, regular periodical downwards in politics, and the economy was horrible. And with my husband at the time, we decided that it was time, about time to move on. And it was a big decision for us, for me particularly, personally, at that time in my life, because I always was a very, very active person in politics and in my profession. I have a profession that a lot of people don't know about, and it's that I'm an architect. I am an architect by trade. I used to work in architecture, and I used to teach as an architect in the School of Architecture and the School of Fine Arts. I was tenured professor in the School of Fine Arts in Argentina. I left a big part of my life. I left a big part of I left my family, and we came just the four of us to look for new opportunities. It was a huge, huge decision.
God, I never knew this about you, and we've known each other for.
Yeah, I'm giving you some. I'm giving you some prime news. That was in the beginning of a great adventure. I decided to go back for a second education because I thought that a master's degree, I had a master's degree in architecture, and in another field will give me better opportunities to work here in the United States. So I did, my other passion was communications, and I had also written for publications in architecture and fine arts and so on back then. And then I decided to go back to school. I got my master's in communications, and then I just pursue a career in marketing and communications, which is, I had jobs and first, and then and then I took a job with the state of New Jersey. And when Governor McGreevey, I was working in a program there, a bilingual program, by the way. And when Governor McGreevey came to office, 758 people from the Department of Health and Senior Services were let go. And I was one of them. And I had started already my business, part-time, kind of side. The kids were out of the house and I was really bored. I was already divorced, so I guess I have a lot of time on my own. And I remember coming back that day in my car. It was a bright day. It was March 24th. I will never forget. It was a winter, bright, sunny day. And I thought to myself, God, if you're letting me go in this fantastic day, sunny day, it must be because my future is as bright as this day. Wow. And I never looked back. I went full time with my business.
You are giving back to the next generation of Latina business owner and minority owned. So thank you for that and for creating this platform that we are able to use. We are able to learn from you, to learn how to market, how to brand. And thank you for being the bridge and the platform for us today.
I always say that I can pass the experience of what not to do, because I made every mistake in the book with my business and I was able to recover, and I had to reinvent myself. At the time, you didn't think of building several different enterprises. I see a lot of serial entrepreneurs that right now, and they try different things, and finally something kicks off and they are successful. At the time, it was more, the norm was more, you reinvent yourself. You keep reinventing yourself until you see that the business is. And I did that with my business. I went through the economic depression of the 2001. That was a big one for us. We had a newspaper. We had to fold it. Then I had to, again, another bump was in the Great Recession. And that's what my business was mostly working with nonprofit and government agencies. We created strategic planning, outreach, communications, and staff development for agencies and organizations that wanted to reach out to the Latino markets. When I started my business, I always say it was about word to say you were Latino. We became very popular after the census of 2000 because the numbers were staggering. And in that decade, millions and millions of Latinos had come to the country. And so organizations that needed to reach out to these communities, such as schools and libraries and in the healthcare industry, hospitals and clinics, were desperately trying to reach for people who can bridge that gap to offer the services, but they didn't know how to bridge that gap. And our services were very timely, and we were able to ride that wave, and so that's why we were very successful.
How does Latina in business assist with the growth of small businesses?
What I learned from my experience as a business is that one of the areas that is most difficult for every business is to promote and advertise your services. And I always say, if people don't know what your product is, the product doesn't exist, because it doesn't exist in the mind of your potential customers. So I decided to create this media nonprofit company to offer these editorial services, promotional services. We do social media campaigns, we do promotional and educational events, and we put you on the spotlight. This organization is not about Susana Baumann. It's about you. That's what the name is, Latinas in Business. We promote you. That's what we're doing, and interviews on Instagram now. We put together events. We do the pitch competition, which has been super popular, very successful, and the promotional events like the Latina Small Biz Expo. And 2 years ago, we started with the economic empowerment lunch, and this year we couldn't do the lunch because the pandemic hit. So it was, but that's how we help. We help by promoting your businesses. We take businesses that are already established at least 2 years. They have an in hand or a service in hand. They're a little more solid and established, and we put them out there, and we try to promote them on all all the channels and the editorial services that we offer.
COVID has impacted businesses across the globe. Tell us how Latinas in Business has been able to pivot and assist these Latina and minority-owned businesses.
We were lucky because we already were in digital. So I immediately saw the opportunity to increase the activity of the platform. We created a series of stories called the Coronavirus Stories, and I started to reaching out to some of my members and telling them, tell us how you're doing, tell us what you're doing, tell other people how you're surviving in this, staying afloat in the pandemic. And I got incredible stories, personal, some of them personal, some of them businesses, some of them reaching out to other organizations in the communities. For instance, I got a story where one of my members, she rescued her mother and her grandmother, and they went to live all together in a big house in Connecticut. She said, I was not going to risk having my mother and my grandmother alone in Texas. I brought them back. So that's the sense of family. That's the sense of community that Latinas have. Others went out and they were reaching out to people, older people in the Bronx, and putting her organization to the service of people in the Bronx, and bringing food and bringing supplies. That's how we do it, Flair. We build community around us no matter what. And I try to keep them connected, because one of the problems also, a lot of people think that Latinas have the main problem is access to capital. And I agree, it's a big hurdle there. It's a big problem having that. But the other one is working in isolation. Don't do this. You don't have to do this alone. there are organizations like us that we can bring you information, we can bring you the resources, we can keep you connected to the community, to talk to each other. Last night I did a fantastic interview with one of our pitch competitors, and she said, what I found is a lot of new friends in this community, women with my same, mind frame, women that are in the same struggle I have, and I am so grateful for that you have created this community.
We will take a quick break, and when we return, Ms. Baumann will discuss how she was able to gather 5 different organizations to prove the power of collaboration in a post-COVID world. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Ms. Baumann. You were able to gather 5 different organizations with the same vision and goal to prove to our community the power of collaboration. Tell us more about that.
That was one of the ideas that I got with the pandemic, because I noticed that everybody was kind of running around like chicken without a head, and nobody knew really what to do. And I thought, if we don't do this together, this is going to be very, very hard for everybody. And not only because my members were not reaching out, they didn't know what to do. Some of them, I was calling out, what are you doing? Did you get the subsidies? Did you apply for the subsidies? Did you, do this, do that? And I was trying to help everybody. We were keeping information on everything that was happening at the beginning. Not even worried. I was not even worried about the event, the June event per se. And then I came out with this idea that we really needed to talk to other organizations to see what resources they were bringing to the table and how they will help in. And so I came up with this idea of the power of collaborations. And we spoke with Beth, and Beth is my rock. Every time I'm saying I'm tired, I want to throw the towel, she goes like, no, you can't throw the towel. You're doing so, too much work. So she said, let's do this together. I'll help you. I said, I'm concerned that this is going to be a bust. Nobody knows exactly how virtual is going to be working. And no, let's do it. Okay, I said, let's go. Let's go. Let's be Telma and Luis and walk together through to the cliff. So that's how we did it. And so she brought, the speakers. She brought other organizations like Seminario de Hispanas Emprendedoras, Verónica Sosa from Belgium. She brought in Perla Tames, who is, she's a serial entrepreneur, but she's also the national director for the hub of Hispanic Star. And I invited Albania Rosario, who is the founder and executive director of Fashion Designers of Latin America. We all represent very powerful. Beth, it's Prospanica, New Jersey chapter president. So we all represent very powerful organizations, national and international. So that we are fighting for our members to stay afloat, and in different ways. And that's what I think this event is going to be so powerful and so interesting, because everybody's going to present a very different perspective of what's going on and what and where and what everybody's doing in these different environments.
Tell us why the power of collaboration is important during these times of COVID.
The power of collaboration should exist always. Nobody has done, there is this idea in American culture that you are self-made. And I strongly disagree with that. I strongly disagree with that idea. Nobody is self-made. Everybody has had someone that has lent a hand to them to be successful. The more you add up, the more you collaborate, the more successful you are.
What should we be expecting at the 2020 Women Entrepreneur Empowerment Summit?
We are going to have a discussion, which Prospanica President Beth Marmolejos is going to be the facilitator for panels of speakers that they're going to discuss what they're doing in their own environments to help Latinas the organizations work. Hispanic Star has been, for instance, giving out food and supplies and other basic resources. She Entrepreneurs has been doing other things in her. She's going to bring that vision from Europe, which is going to be very different from what we see here. And I really am very interested in hearing Veronica, what she has to bring. And then Albania, who is going to be our celebrity speaker. Albania brings another vision of the fight and the struggle of designers in Latin America. But as she said, and I thought it was so thoughtful, this is the whole industry. You see the designers, but behind the designers, there are the people who are sewing, and the people who are doing the textiles, and the people who are doing the dyeing, and the people who are, doing the templates or whatever they call it, and it's true. They're trying to sustain a whole structure that ends in the designer, right? And the designer then shows the work of everybody. But it's really a team, and those are the ones who are suffering the most in this pandemic because they're losing their jobs. So I'm super excited to hear all these different versions of what's going on.
Tell us more about the agenda.
One of the things that I wanted to point out is that not only we have speakers that are representing these Latina organizations, but also we have strategic partners that represent also or large organizations of women entrepreneurs like Bellas Fashionistas and Latina Surge, Red Shoe Movement. These women have been my mentors, my cheerleaders, with their generosity. We have helped each other. We have promoted them. They have promoted us in our events. We have been speakers for each other. So those are the type of things that when you have a business, you have to rely in these organizations because they are the ones that put you on the spotlight. And that's what it's so important. So that's the first part, the panel. Albania, who is going to be our celebrity speaker, and she's going to talk about the fashion industry, how the fashion industry is suffering through the pandemic. And then at the end, we are presenting several awards. The big one is to Diana Franco, who is the executive director of Women Entrepreneur of New York City. And Diana is also, not only she's a fabulous friend, but also a great supporter of Latinas in business. And she is she's the city of New York specific organism that mentors and gives resources to women entrepreneurs. So there is no, she's a great example of how an organization, you can rely on an organization to provide you resources. And then after her, we're presenting all these awards to all the monthly entrepreneurs, Latinas that have been in the spotlight. Just a little mention, the event is free, but we are running, by the way, commercial, a fundraiser in parallel. It's called the 2020 WEES fundraiser. And we ask everybody to please collaborate so that we can continue doing all our services are free. All our services are free. So but we have to pay people who work for us. So we help. The pledge starts at $10, and if you just give $10, you will receive a mask, a reusable mask made by a Latina entrepreneur that we are buying from her. So you're giving business to someone, and you're giving and you get a tax deduction. So again, it doesn't get better than that, right? Right.
Good tax deduction, which is great.
That's right. And then if you get $25 a month for a year, then you are able to participate in our fantastic, fabulous Costa Rica giveaway, which is one lucky winner. We go with us for a experiential retreat, and this is a trip donated by Renovat, another Latina entrepreneur who has been very, very affected by the pandemic because she does travel. And she has moved this experiential retreat in Costa Rica for 2021. So there is a lot of other prizes and giveaways that you can be receiving. So we really encourage everybody to help and to give a little. $10 is a drink that you can't even go to a bar to have right now. So why not give it to make other Latinas shine and give them the opportunity?
Tell us, when is the event?
The event is July 30th, which is a Thursday, and it's from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. And we are going to be broadcasting on Facebook Live, streaming on Facebook Live, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And the people were going to be able to choose whatever platform they want to be looking at, and that it's unlimited. So we have already almost 100 people registered, and we're about 10 days away from the event. So we are very excited. We think we're going to have a great turnout.
Where can we sign up for the event?
People can register on Eventbrite. It's free. The registration is free at 2020wees.eventbrite.com.
Thank you so much for joining us, Susana. It is always a pleasure to have you at your home at Bellas Fashionistas.
Thank you, Fleur. You're the best. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to follow us at Bellas Fashionistas and our media partner at BronxNet TV. To watch more of our programming, please visit our websites at bellasfashionistas.com and our media partner at bronxnet.org. Please be safe. Have a great day.